Hi Aries, and welcome to your April 2024 forecast. I'm coming on to talk to you about the month ahead, a birthday reading for you all. Happy birthday to those of you aging up in March or April. We are in Aries season now. I'm filming this right after the equinox. It's the 22nd of March, the day that I'm filming this. So we are right in these first few degrees of Aries, and as a friend was telling me, the last normal days of Aries, because we're about to be in eclipse season. Well, we already are, but the 25th of March we'll have an eclipse, lunar eclipse on your axis, and then of course on April 8th we have the total solar eclipse in your sign. Oh my gosh, Aries, I'm going to try to really give you some good information in this reading because I know that obviously it's your season, we have eclipses, and it just feels like a very pivotal time, but it's kind of a hard time. You know what I mean? Like, I've been like kind of gearing up for this reading, and I've been feeling a little bit of exhaustion. I've been feeling a little bit of monotony. I've been feeling also a glimmer of hope and a very clear picture of the way that things just can be now, like how things don't have to be hard. As hard as they used to be, how things also have a very wonderful path forward, full of potential. And at the same time, I'm kind of seeing some Aries people like keeping on looking at their phones constantly. You could be constantly awaiting a message from someone. There could be someone who's on your mind here. Something's really trying to like work itself out, and I feel that the universe is basically trying to show you some of these final little knots and final little hiccups or pain points so that you can really harness the eclipse and move past these things. So yeah, we'll just stream of consciousness this reading, Aries. Things to watch out for in April. Okay, I'm losing sleep because I need to hear from someone. There's someone who I don't understand the status of our relationship, and I am spending a lot of time thinking about how things could be, going really crazy in the mind, thinking of all these scenarios, thinking of all these different ways that things are changing, different ways that things are evolving, and trying to predict or use my willpower to enforce something to be a new way. This is something that this eclipse is going to work on a little bit. It's going to work on our preconceptions and our needs to have certain people perhaps fulfill roles that they don't need to fulfill. So definitely take some time here in April to look around and see like, okay, here's the list of people that are constantly in my life. Maybe it's parents, siblings, children, a few friends, some work people. I would go through the list here, Aries, and I would just like write these names out, honestly. And I would like imagine that right as you do this, you're going to like have an aha moment and realize, whoa, I'm relying on the wrong people for the wrong things. Hi, Taurus, and welcome to your April 2024 forecast. I'm coming on to talk to you about the month ahead. I'm so excited to be talking to you all about this month, as I have been wanting to get some psychic insight on the state of affairs, I suppose, with Uranus and Jupiter being in your sign. That's been transiting my own chart really strong by opposition, as I'm a 4th house Scorpio. So I've been starting to get Jupiter and Uranus coming into my chart. And I've been really feeling that energy. So I'm going to talk about that today, how that is affecting Taurus people specifically as your counterpart here as a Scorpio on your axis. Let's see what comes up. And we'll talk about the month ahead in general for your sign, get some general insights. So let's dive into it, Taurus. Okay. April 2024, Taurus. New taste, new demeanors, getting out more, something about households and efficiency, learning how growth works without trying so hard, getting some things off your plate and having more beneficial experiences because of it. Okay, Taurus, this is about tact and resourcefulness. You're probably seeing now a little wave of abundance coming into your life. You're probably seeing now that the harder you try with certain things, the worse it gets. The less you intervene in other things, the more they bloom, the more that they get fertility and experience growth. So this has been a funny little thing to me to watch how much the focused mind gets stimulated over things, and how much those things that the mind is so focused on can be such a source of difficulty and strife, whereas the things that we're not thinking about just work themselves out for the better. So what does this mean, Taurus? Wonderful point of the Jupiter return for you. You don't have to do that much, okay? Jupiter's going to be in Gemini soon, in fact, in May. I can't believe we're that close to it. I think you guys just need to enjoy the rest of your Jupiter return. I don't think you need to try that hard. I don't think you need to worry about your expenses that much. I don't think that you need to implement a bunch of frugality here. I'm not saying that you guys need to go on a spending spree. But what I am saying is that here you need to allow abundance into your life. Here you need to accept that things are what they are. I've seen a lot of people under this Jupiter and Uranus and Taurus not accepting what they've been given, trying to change things, trying to move, trying to shift industries, trying to move things around. And it just is antithetical to the energy. Jupiter in Taurus is about the abundance that comes from long-running roots, that comes from staying power, that comes from the fixed earth element. So this is where you shine right now, Taurus, is in the things that you've done well for such a long time. If you can get around nature more, I mean, if you could like plant a garden, like just imagine all these different, say you have like a yard or a backyard attached to your house or something with like a wonderful like privacy fence, and now all of these blooming flowers are going up in the spring, or maybe this is in the next few years happening because you're implementing the seeds to something like this now. I don't know, a paid off house with these wonderful blooming gardens, and you're just there, or you're just soaking in the fertility of the entire experience without having to try that hard. Hi Geminis, and welcome to your April 2024 forecast. I'm coming on to talk to you about the month ahead. Let's talk about you. Let's get some great insights for you as we are getting closer and closer to Jupiter moving into your sign. It's not in April, but we are getting to these last moments of Jupiter in Taurus. Jupiter is firmly in your collective 12th house. We have an Aries, Libra eclipse season happening, which will be favorable in angle to whatever you have in Gemini, meaning that inherent eclipse energy of something coming in, something going out is going to be favorably aspected. So what do we have to bring in for Gemini in April? So this is going to be a hard month for feeling like nothing can go, for feeling like you've got to hang on to every single relationship, or you've got to accommodate every single person, or you've got to be like the perfect host, okay? I'm seeing some people relying too much on Gemini people. I'm also seeing that maybe you've been like too open with some people, or you've shared too much. Perhaps you've done better financially, and now people essentially expect you to front the bill. Perhaps also people who have been in your life for a long time now are kind of leaning on you more than they did before. You know, Jupiter's getting closer to your sign. There's a feeling of new abundance. There's a feeling of having a new windfall come into your life. There's a lucky streak. Perhaps that even other people can see more in you than you can see in yourself yet. So here we go, starting to prepare the board essentially for a luckier phase in life. April 2024 looks like just a major rearrangement for you all, and I feel like a lot of stuff needs rearranged. So basically what I want you guys to do, you can even do that as you're listening to as you're listening to this reading if you like, is make a list of like the top 5 to 8 main problems that you've identified, perhaps over even the last few years. Okay, so for example, I'm a workaholic, and because I'm a workaholic, my diet really suffers, and I end up turning to things like fast food, or I've developed perhaps a coffee addiction or something because my life is dominated by too much vigorous work, and that always takes priority. So all of this other stuff is falling into a negative space. So maybe you start listing out problems related to that, and I want you to just come to a solution for it, like seriously in the next 20 minutes or the next month, okay, before Jupiter gets into your sign, because that's going to be the best way to open the gates to this more lucky, prosperous feeling and life experience, is to basically just go ahead and right the wrongs now, so that you can start to cultivate a more positive, beneficial momentum. So like maybe you can start ordering meal prep kits or something, or maybe you can start doing meal prep for yourself. Maybe you can start carving out a better eating habits. You know, we're still in Jupiter and Taurus, so this has to do with food. It has to do with the material turnover in our life, budgets, food, things like that. Try to just go ahead and regiment that in the best way possible here and accept, okay, what is currently here, accept the current sort of cogs and wheels that are in your life, and start to focus more on you and the way to ensure a better health and better longevity within these current systems. Hi Cancers, and welcome to your April 2024 forecast. I'm coming on to talk to you about the month ahead. I hope you're all doing really well. I am currently coming to you as a little bit of a rainstorm is coming through here, and I was just feeling some pretty strong Cancer energy, so I am going to be informing you a little bit about the huge energetic shifts that your sign will be having in the month of April, and they are huge ones, okay? We have I feel remaining energy from Pisces season, that huge Pisces stellium that trined you, still hanging on this month. And then we have, of course, the eclipse season, the major solar eclipse in Aries, squaring you in your fellow cardinal sign of Aries. So we've got eclipse squares and stellium trines. So it's going to be really mixing up a lot of the things that you have held as a sort of like usual construct in your life. I feel that there is maybe a breaking of the status quo starting to happen, but it's for the better. Also, I'm feeling a major need to face certain fear constructs that you've had coming up now. So I'm feeling that there are things that you might be worried about really coming to the surface in April to be resolved in a very physical way. And I feel that it's a really important month for starting to hone the integrity of what you've created. So we have a lot to talk about, Cancer, and it's feeling very psychic to me. I'm getting a lot of different insights from across the board for your experience. So where should we start? The first thing that I want to talk about mainly for you is area context, okay? So what I'm getting for Cancers is that there is a different energy about the area that they're living or about the places that they've been for a long time. So anything in your life that has been like a really long-running construct, say you've lived in the same family home for a long time, say that you've lived in the same city for a long time, or if you had been traveling more in your life, maybe you've been settled for like the last few years, the area context is going to start changing, and you might also see like areas that you used to feel were very healthy for you, starting to shift. So at a very physical material level, this could be like all of a sudden your state, area, or territory is like doing a lot of energy production. Maybe there's like more pollution, and maybe there used to not be, and now you have to kind of like face, do I want to be here? Do I want to remain in this area? I am seeing certain Cancers, and certainly this is not for everyone, but certain Cancers are realizing that they're kind of like winding up a certain story in a certain area. This is kind of like the effect of Saturn in Pisces as it continues advancing for Cancer, is like, okay, I've been here for such a long time, I have roots, or I have heritage, or I have long-running material relevance in a certain place, but there are elements of it that are out of my control that are starting to maybe contrast or contradict who I am now. So I want you guys to really notice this in April if it's here. You know, don't force it if it's not something that's resonating for you. But I feel like especially for the water signs, this is really important to start noticing here with this eclipse season and the Pisces energy is like, am I overstaying? Am I stagnating? Am I kind of like hyping up a plateau? You know what I mean? Like maybe I'm not doing bad, but maybe there's a plateau or a neutral territory that I'm having to like really season up, like putting a lot of MSG in your food, really salting things up or sugaring things up in a sort of subpar area to like sell it to yourself. Do you know what I mean? Really notice this here, Cancers. Really notice if basically you're enforcing a certain status quo that you don't have to, and kind of like selling it to yourself by putting a lot of sparkles on it, or by, you know, spending more money, like making yourself more happy in a location that you're not really happy in, basically compensating. Hi Leos, and welcome to your April 2024 forecast. I'm coming on to talk to you about the month ahead. What an awesome energy we have coming up for you. You are one of the signs that I feel some really positive insights coming in for this Aries eclipse season that we're having. So yes, your fellow Leo rising sky will be reading for you about this totally transformative month. Okay, so let's talk about it. Something is going to be notified here of a really positive outcome. Some type of trial and tribulation phase is starting to dissipate, and you need to start preparing yourself for managing something a lot more abundant than what you're accustomed to. So this is where the mindsets have to start changing. Some of the poverty mindsets, some of the fear-based spectrums and lack-based grids will have to be thrown totally out of the window. And I feel that for Taurus season, you guys need to prepare basically to start thinking quite differently about some of the things that you have in your life. Because I feel for the last few years, with Pluto and Capricorn, the quincunx to Leo, it's been like having to do whatever it takes to survive. It's like making sure that you're saving so much in case of a disaster, you know, taking all the business you can get, taking all the clients you can get, working all the shifts you can, and things start to change up here, okay? So it's not that you need to stop being productive. It's not that you need to turn off the flow. In fact, I can see some Leos actually getting much more productive here, or starting to resume a type of work that they haven't done before. But the way that you think about what's coming in needs to change. So I feel that you actually have to build a lot more here. I feel that you have to pool or reservoir a lot more of your resources, but it's not based on the same headspace or motivation that you had before. So now you have to recognize your value differently. This trine eclipse happening on the 8th of April for you, the Aries solar eclipse, which will trine whatever you have in Leo, is going to be a very positive, healing absence in your life. Something is leaving, some type of even like gray aura, or sort of like, you know, middle of the way, kind of unresolved, unassured, untrusting even, fearful to speak your truth, fearful to ask people the important questions. That's going to start going here if you would like. And I would definitely encourage you all in April to basically work with yourself along those lines. Like, why is it that I feel like I can't tell someone how I feel? Why is it that I don't feel like making a decision about this crossroads in my life is positive right now? Why am I postponing things? Why am I wanting to withdraw myself and like resort to overthinking, or, you know, list making all of the time, or you know, kind of enforcing a state of peace at the crossroads. Not that this is necessarily bad all the time. In fact, I feel for some Leos, this has been the necessary strategy for the time being, but this eclipse is going to change that in April, okay? Hi Virgos, and welcome to your April 2024 forecast. I'm coming on to talk to you about the month ahead. What a stunning month for you all. I'm happy to be talking to you because I feel that this hyper-organized energy of Virgo is going to be really important in offsetting some of the chaotic energy coming from this Aries eclipse. What do we have in store for Virgo for April? So the keywords that I have written down are reconciliation, alleviation of problems, something unexpected leaves, and the applying energy of Jupiter and Uranus and Taurus is going to give you a really potent and powerful trine, which is going to really mix some things up in your life and give you a different kind of mindset about how you're facing some of the long-running structures. So let's see, what general psychic energy am I getting for Virgo? Okay, something wants to experience a new kind of life. Something wants to also have more connection with new people. There's a need for reflecting or seeing yourself perhaps in a group of people and interacting or integrating more, and maybe increasing the amount of people around you. At the same time, I am also getting parents for you. So maybe there's something going on with the parents or the parental structures. I'm seeing also an increase in attention there. So maybe you're having to like assist your parents, or you're having to make decisions on behalf of them. And this is leading across the board to a lot more interaction and a lot more people skills needed. So your communication faculties are going to be really tested during the month of April. And you're going to have to also be clearer, I think, with people about what you want out of certain relationships. Also, if you have like new resources coming into your life, it's going to be very important to have a pretty clear idea of how that's going to be managed. So it's a very managerial energy here. The eclipse season is not going to affect you that drastically. Again, this is the quincunx angle coming from the Aries solar eclipse on April 8th. If you have other parts of your chart that are being impacted by that strongly, I would listen to the readings for those signs. But just for Virgo energy, it's going to kind of like be observing. I feel that you're going to be put into the role of the observer, and you're going to be witnessing different people as they go through perhaps some really upending or challenging life experiences, but it's not directly towards you, which ends up being a superpower, and that ends up supporting you in a roundabout way. Also, Virgos, I'm feeling that in the month of April, you are called to begin preparing for the May to June time period in a very pragmatic and practical way. We will be moving towards a Gemini season where Jupiter moves into Gemini, which is going to square you. And we are also going to then have a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction as well in Taurus, which will be the trine. So it's going to be much more activating. April is not that activating for you guys. April is going to be hitting the other people in your life, assuming that they have placements that are hit by that eclipse. And it's going to be more like a waiting window until we get actually into like late May and through June. So if you have any like critical missions in your life, those are better to start placing in the June to like September timeline. And I would try to kind of reserve and heal and recharge during the month of April to be prepared for all of those things. Hi Libras, and welcome to your April 2024 forecast. I'm coming on to talk to you about the month ahead. What an awesome month ahead we have for you. We have a total solar eclipse happening on your axis. We have Chiron and Mercury also dancing in Aries opposite you. We have a lot of culmination, obviously, coming from the north and south node being on your axis and the eclipses. And yes, let's make some space here to talk about the way that things are changing for you and the way that this eclipse energy and month of April is culminating for the sign of Libra. So for you, I think it's the most out of anybody, probably even more than Aries, just because the opposition kind of offsets things even more than the conjunction, I think, in this case. So out of all the signs, I think that you're up for the biggest shifts, the biggest transformations, and I think that the results are going to be the most obvious for you as well. For a lot of the signs, these are kind of like subtle results, and a lot of it's having to do with the decision-making process and what types of experiences we allow to affect our path forward. For you, I think it's going to be very physical. Okay, so there's definitely a realization coming like right at the end of March and beginning of April. Very strong realization of like the exact material status of everything that you're going through, how satisfied you are with relationships in your life, your living situation, your body, your health. All of it's just going to form right directly in front of you, and you're going to really get some power in moving things around again. So it's like everything kind of centralizes together. Here in early April, around the 8th, when the eclipse happens, you're going to be able to put some of it away, decrease some of it, and then also increase or augment other aspects. So this is a wonderful month for rearranging the board of your life. This is a wonderful month for discerning, like, do I still need to keep doing this? Do I still need to hang on to this habit? Do I still need to seek in this territory? Do I still need validation from this person? Do I require some form of external support in order to feel valid in what I'm doing? We have a big test of the ego here, and we how we know and distinguish ego from truth is like how much validation is required to make it real, and how much of just your inner knowing is required to make it real. So we're going to have to shift a little bit more into the inner knowing during this time, Libra. It's going to be very important to not rely on the validation of other people, because if you do, you may start to get off of the important path. So you're going to have to prove it to yourself. You're going to have to know through your own inner knowing what is an important path for you, and not necessarily expect other people to validate, reciprocate, or generate that. Hi Scorpios, and welcome to your April 2024 forecast. I'm coming on to talk to you about the month ahead. I hope that you're all doing really well. Wow, what a bridge of a month of April that we have coming up. So I've got a few things that I want to talk about with you all in this reading that are a little bit different for your signs. So let's jump into that. I'm just finding my outline that I have written down here. Okay, so as we've been talking about, we have the Aries solar eclipse on April the 8th. A little bit about how that's going to affect your sign specifically. So this is your fellow Mars-ruled sign of Aries. It's the Aries-Libra axis, meaning that it's the 12th, 6th house axis in your collective sign. So there's a shift up in your daily routine and a shift also in your unconscious thinking patterns and in your dreams, okay? The 12th house being dreams and unconscious thinking, and then the 6th house being mundane daily activities. There's going to be some big changes there, so big mindset shift, also a new routine. Maybe some of you are not participating in certain daily routines that have been a part of your routine for a long time. Maybe you don't have some of the same people around you anymore day to day, and perhaps also the long-running day-to-day routines are feeling stagnated or not quite how you want to continue forward. So there's going to be a change there. And I recommend starting, if you have not moved here, if you have not made some type of grand change, now will be a good time to make small changes in the home to channel this energy. Like maybe you change the rooms around or change the furniture around. I feel like it's good to channel this 6th, 12th house eclipse energy with giving yourself kind of a fresh shake-up here. Also, it's a wonderful month in April to acquire or to come into something else, as many of the other signs are having really life-changing difficulties. Scorpio can kind of come in and achieve a lot of victory here and achieve a lot of new ground as well. So there's an expansion that's starting to come up in your energy, and also there's a window or an opportunity coming up all throughout April as we start to get from Aries to Taurus season. I'm seeing Scorpios really getting a chance to expand as we get Jupiter, obviously opposite you in Taurus, moving up towards Uranus. And we're going to have sort of a culmination moving through April and May with what that transit has meant for you on your axis. So I think that it's going to be a very important time of severing certain bonds and creating other ones. You're going to have some tests in any wounds that you may have relating to money and relationships. And you're going to start over in certain ways as well in April. Okay, but there is also something quite serious in tone that is really coming up right in front of you in April. I'm sure that this is relating to the eclipses, because I often find that the sign of Scorpio is very charged by eclipse energy, and it's kind of like a scorpionic energy, right? An eclipse. So I feel that something that has been right in front of you may be eclipsed out, something that you've been focused on for a long time may no longer be a focus for you. Or you may be charged here to really finally move directly toward what you've been thinking about for a long time. It's going to feel, I think, even more difficult than it's been feeling to try to create on the sideline, or to try to embark certain sideline stories that are not really the main element for you. Hi Sagittarius, and welcome to your April 2024 forecast. I'm coming on to talk to you about the month ahead. Wow, Sagittarius, what an incredible month we have coming up for you. You are one of the signs that is having a major expansion and increase of life force energy through this Aries total solar eclipse. It's kind of similar to the energy of Leo, except for you, I think it's a little bit potentially more positive. with a lot of previous mindsets that you might have been employing that held you back, getting eclipsed out in April. So in this reading, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about eclipse messages for your sign, and I will detail just some of the intuitive messages for you through April. It's a very fiery month, which is going to be good for you. It's also the last month of your ruling planet Jupiter being in Taurus, which I think is good. Even though Jupiter's debilitated in Gemini, I do think that it's going to be potentially better for you and lighter. The last about 8 months or so has been very incompatible with Sagittarius. Gosh, you guys have been having such a challenge since 2020. And there was a little bit of a respite in 2022 with the Mars in Gemini and the Saturn in Aquarius. But really like 2020, 2021, and most of 2023 has been very inharmonious for Sagittarius because there's just been so much water and earth. It's been hard to really maintain that fire. It's been hard to really grow the way that your sign is meant to. But fear not, by the summer of this year, specifically by like August, September, there's going to be so much natural growth opportunity and so much more clarity. But yeah, we're not there yet. Though I think that this Aries total solar eclipse could be opportune for you to work out some of the things that are preventing you from properly expanding or from achieving a certain confidence. So April looks like a wonderful month for new forms of spiritual development. April looks really nice for just like giving yourself a certain stability or allowing the current reality to be in your life without going against the grain so much, and allowing certain things to work themselves out and eclipse out of your life naturally. There are some challenges starting to come in for you about essentially the light or dark path. I feel that some of you have to get a little bit more easygoing on yourself and maybe stop being so cruel or hard on yourself. There's maybe a bridled or pent up kind of energy that I'm feeling where it's like I have to keep myself in such a strict routine or regimen, or I have to do this no matter what. Like I can't take breaks. I can't take, until I get to a certain point or until I achieve a certain wholesomeness or full spectrum goal accomplishment. I have to be a certain way. So the thing is, Sagittarius, is you're going to have to see a disruption of exactly what that is before the goal is accomplished. Hi Capricorns, and welcome to your April 2024 forecast. I'm coming on to talk to you about the month ahead. I hope that you're all doing really well. Wow, what a powerful eclipse month we have coming up in April. Let's talk about what this means for Capricorn and getting you through the other side of this time. Okay, Capricorns, a lot of the filler material is going to have to go. Okay, so I feel that most of us, most signs, but especially Capricorn, I feel that we have certain things that are held up by certain filler things that make it bearable to basically be where we don't have to be anymore. Oh my gosh, can we, that's like all of the reading. I'm kidding. Yeah, sit and think about that for a minute. What am I generating a lot of demand for in my life that basically makes bearable something that I don't have to do anymore? For some people, this is addiction. For some people, it's the little things, For some people, it's sugar, caffeine, smoking, whatever it is. We're going to have to X a lot of this stuff out. I recommend to really harness the energy of this eclipse to relinquish these things full force, because it's only in that state of total sobriety and total selfhood, total confrontation with exactly where you are now, what you have to show for the previous stories, and where it's landed you. Only there, I feel, can we make the most rational decision about the future progress that we're going to make. Only there, I feel, can we really decide which track we're going to get on. As I feel that for Capricorns, there could be a change in track, or there could be like, once I was going to do this music career, now I want to do this political career, or once I did this business-oriented mindset. Now I'm wanting more of a spiritual path. And I'm finding that perhaps some of this money orientation or some of this business doctrine is kind of like de-spiritualizing some of the elements of my life. Like maybe I'm like trusting more in money than I am in the universe or God or whatever. So there's kind of this like shaking awakening happening for Capricorns. Yeah, you guys are kind of being shaken awake. So it's like the days of Pluto and Capricorn is over. And there's this feeling of, I feel, what I feel Capricorns is like, basically God is like shaking you awake and saying like, okay, no more of this distraction, no more, like this was all good, this was all impressive, but like now are you ready for like the real thing? Are you now prepared to undertake the path that you had designed for yourself for such a long time? Hi, Aquarius, and welcome to your April 2024 forecast. I'm coming on to talk to you about the month ahead. I'm so excited to be talking to you guys about this magnificent month of April. We have some really positive developments coming in for Aquarius that I'll be happy to talk about. So I've been preparing to do you and Pisces reading to finish up for the month of April, and I was having a lot of like really wild insight come up for Pisces, but it's not quite so difficult for Aquarius. So I'm just like having to hold both energies of these final two signs. Okay, so the psychic images that I'm getting for you, Aquarius, is beginning to put together different components in your life to where a new harmony is achieved. So different things that you have been working on separately now start to come together. For example, say you're sewing like an entire garment. Maybe you've worked on like the sleeves separately and the different parts of it separately. Now it's going to finally start coming together. We have Pluto really getting into your sign in April, and something has to come together here, and it's going to be harder and harder to work on things continuing in such an isolated way. Some Aquarian people could also be having the urge to like disconnect things as well, like something that's been working for a long time or something that has been cohesive or connective, you might be wanting to like isolate. So I'm thinking of like engineers here, where you like understand how all of these different parts come together, and you also then know how to take them apart and put them back together and take them apart. And for Aquarius in April, it's going to be really important to understand what the larger purpose of like these tools or these creations or these larger pictures that you're creating are. Of course, we have a really intensive eclipse happening on the 8th of April, and I'll talk for a second about how I feel that energy affecting you. So it's a sextile from the sign of Aries. There's something kind of calling to you. There's something ahead of you. There's something that you're directing your energy toward, that you will start to see certain obstacles in the way of it move out. So you're one of the only signs through this eclipse season that's going to have a lot of obstacles moving out of your path. But you don't want to get bogged down with some of this detail orientation and all of these different combinative approaches that you're having to take. You don't want to let that kind of cover up your view to the larger picture. So basically, in layman's terms, Aquarius, don't overcomplicate things here. Don't feel like you need to take things apart or deconstruct things that you've worked so hard to put together. It's better just to walk away for a little while than it is to tear things up or to get into a destructive headspace. I see some Aquarius people maybe taking breaks here, like a sabbatical from your work, like perhaps a break from a relationship, or maybe it's getting out of town for a while. Rather than continuing to feel a lot of pain and difficulty in these spaces, it's better to take a break in April. Hi, Pisces, and welcome to your April 2024 forecast. I'm coming on to talk to you about the month ahead. This is a late night reading, Pisces. I was just feeling your energy really coming in, so I wanted to go ahead and film it. I hope that it comes through well. Still, it kind of feels like we're in a kind of difficult energy to articulate. We have a major eclipse season coming in the month of April, as well as, Saturn really building up in your sign, getting a really strong dose of what Saturn in Pisces is meaning, and the sort of spiritual polarities and alchemies coming in. It should start to get very apparent here. I will be totally honest with you guys. There are going to be some red flags in April, and I want to prepare you for that. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to give you guys a heads up. This is where, Saturn has, not gotten too advanced in your sign, but it's starting to cross that threshold where it's getting to that midpoint, and it's like, okay, we're going to start to understand what Saturn being in our sign means, and, having Neptune there and having had so many planets there, Mars as well this month, which is debilitated. Mars and Saturn being together in Pisces. I want you guys to take the pressure off yourself just a little bit. You don't have to be perfect for anybody. You don't have to be anybody for anybody. But I also want you guys to take very seriously any of the feelings of powerlessness, misery, fear, disruption. I want you to take those as essentially like red flags, like, okay, maybe we need to pivot a little bit, or maybe we need to take some time to feel through the next phase of our journey. How have we grown as people? So things have come true is also what I feel for you all for April. This is going to be a very psychic and intuitive reading. Things have come true. You've accomplished things. You've manifested something. A years-long project could be totally fulfilled. Maybe you've graduated. Maybe you've come past a certain finish line. And now we have kind of a precipice of sorts, or a waypoint or a base camp, I feel here, where we're really having to coordinate the ways that we go from here.